we've got our single player stuff with adventure, we've got our multiplayer modes, we've got our online. The Bowhemoth is kind of a special mode because it's for the hardest of the hardcore Runbow fanatics.
So the Bowhemoth is a series of really difficult levels that are strung together by checkpoints. It is designed to be beaten in one go with no saving and coming back to it.
The Bowhemoth in the world of Runbow is this gigantic beast that eats everything it sees, and it's actually eating the land and, you know, devouring the earth around it. So in the story, you actually, you know, Hugh and Val are running along, you know, doing a race, they're about to grab the trophy, and the Bowhemoth devours the trophy and throws them back too. So, you know, you're thrown into the belly of this giant monster, and you've got to fight your way through, grab that trophy, get out.
I really wanted to challenge players with our interesting mechanic and just see how many different things I could do with it. Turns out that you can do a lot of interesting things with a really simple mechanic, and I'm really glad that we got to explore it to its potential. It really challenges people to master our game as a platformer. Those people that are looking for a challenge, looking for something to really test their platforming skills, or people that are just looking to see how we use our color mechanic to its kind of fullest extent. I think those kind of 3 points are what will drive people there. The Bowhemoth varies in length depending on how good you are. That's as flat as I can put that. The highest I've seen is close to 3 hours, and the shortest is my current time, which is 18 minutes.
On the one hand, we were inspired by old school games, right? You know, classic, tough as nails, arcade and old Nintendo games. And on the other hand, we were inspired by classic 1960s monster movies, kind of when the monster boom happened. Ever since I was a kid, I've been a huge kaiju nut. I grew up on those old monster movies, and I still, you know, love them. So as soon as I heard we wanted to do something that was kind of like a Belly of the Beast gauntlet, I was like, immediately, there's got to be a huge monster here.
The inspiration behind the art style for Bowhemoth came from several places, actually. One thing that was kind of mandatory to have it on the Bowhemoth art style is that the creature itself had to somewhat resemble a human being wearing a costume, just like in a monster movie from the 60s. So that made us cut several of our concept arts, but it also helped us to guide to a very nice concept style that we chose after.
We saw a lot of 60s movie posters. We were looking at like just big creatures in general, something like mountain-sized creatures. Something that was very intimidating, but at the same time still comical, which kind of fits to our game style. We wanted like a coherent like story behind it, so we decided why not have you go through all these hard levels inside of like a monster.
What would happen if you saw the inside of a creature's gullet? Like, what would you be seeing? In this case, the Bowhemoth, you'd be seeing land masses, and you'd be seeing, you know, houses and other things that you'd see outside in environments inside the belly of this giant beast. So I guess that's where all the art kind of was inspired by.
If you're inside the beast, what colors would be? So we tried to go for like flashy and blood colors and things like that.
I was just trying to create things that like would fit inside a monster, like rib cages, bones, stuff you would eat.
Instead of water, for example, you have like an acid fluid. So everything creates tension, and you can see that it's a harmful environment.
For the music, I knew I wanted to contact Dan, and I wanted to send him some references from the composers that worked on those old monster movies. So people like Akira Ifukube, Masaru Sato.
The inspiration behind the Bowhemoth music essentially was to try and create a big sense of depth, make the sound very cavernous. We're in the belly of the beast, so we wanted something that was big, but not over the top. One of the cool things that I really liked about the Bowhemoth music was I took a choir sample male choir singing, and I pitched it down like 2 octaves, way lower than it should be. No man can sing this low. And it gave us this really guttural, almost like a monster moan. It kind of felt like bad indigestion or something like that. And I made sure that that kind of just poked out in between all of the phrases in the music, so that you always had this sort of ominous underpinning. The Bowhemoth is a different beast altogether. I like that it's a change of pace from the rest of the game. I like the fact that, you know, you can have a completely different experience within the realm of Runbow. The sense of tension is a completely different sense of tension from the rest of the game.
One part of the Bowhemoth is beating it. The other part of the Bowhemoth is beating it faster than your friends. So there's actually, you do get a special gift if you manage to beat the Bowhemoth within a certain time or within a certain number of deaths.
Try to beat your friends at it. If you got a group going, just set those best times and compare.